Michael Wright entered the world of acting with the kind of intensity that could make even a supporting role feel like the center of the story. For audiences who discovered him through the 5 Heartbeats, he became unforgettable as Eddie King Jr., the gifted singer whose ambition, pain, and self-destructive choices gave the film much of its emotional force. Yet Wright's career stretched far beyond that celebrated performance. He worked with major filmmakers, appeared in influential television productions, earned one of cinema's respected acting prizes, and repeatedly accepted characters that demanded emotional toughness. In August 2026, his story took a heartbreaking turn when news emerged that he had died at the age of 70, bringing renewed attention to a career that many viewers knew through only a handful of famous roles. Michael Wright was born on April 30, 1956, in New York City, and was raised there. He attended the New Lincoln School, an educational background that preceded a career that would eventually take him from New York into film, television, and international cinema. His professional screen career began in the late 1970s, with his first listed film appearance coming in The Wanderers in 1979, where he played Clinton, the leader of the Dell bombers. That early role was revealing because Wright was already being placed in characters with authority, danger, and an unmistakable presence. What makes his career especially interesting is how quickly he moved into serious dramatic territory. In 1983, Wright appeared in Robert Altman's Streamers, playing Carlyle, a young soldier caught inside a tense environment shaped by racial conflict, fear, and questions of identity. The film was adapted from David Rabe's play and featured an ensemble that included Matthew Modine, David Alan Grier, George Dzunza, and Mitchell Lichtenstein. The performance did something remarkable for a relatively early point in Wright's career. He shared the Volpe Cup for Best Actor at the 1983 Venice Film Festival with the principal male cast of Streamers. That award is one of the less frequently remembered achievements attached to Wright's name. His later fame would largely be associated with the 5 Heartbeats, but years before that movie, he had already received major international recognition for his acting. The Venice honor was shared among 6 performers, making it an unusual ensemble achievement. The AFI catalog records that the cast collectively received the Golden Lion at Venice, describing the recognition as an unprecedented honor for the festival at the time. Television gave Wright another opportunity to establish himself. He appeared in the original V science fiction franchise as Elias Taylor, beginning with the 1983 miniseries and continuing into V, The Final Battle, and V, the series. His work on V, the series, extended across 13 episodes. For viewers who knew him mainly from his later films, this period demonstrated that Wright had already become a recognizable television performer during the 1980s. His filmography continued to expand. He appeared in The Principal in 1987, Bedtime Eyes, Private Times, Sugar Hill, Money Talks, Point Blank, Panero, and The Interpreter, among other productions. His work was not restricted to one genre. He could move between crime dramas, action-oriented stories, television series, and psychologically demanding material without becoming locked into a single screen identity. Then came the performance that would define him for generations. In 1991, Wright played Eddie King Jr. in Robert Townsend's The 5 Heartbeats. The film followed a fictional R&B group and explored friendship, fame, ambition, addiction, betrayal, and the pressures that accompany success. Wright's Eddie was not presented as a simple hero. He was talented and charismatic, but his choices gradually exposed the darker consequences of fame and personal weakness. That complexity helped make the performance memorable. The significance of Eddie King Jr. became even clearer with time. The 5 Heartbeats developed a devoted following after its original release, and Wright's performance became one of the central reasons audiences continued returning to the film. His portrayal contained vulnerability beneath Eddie's outward confidence, giving the character emotional dimensions that could easily have been lost in a conventional music drama. Wright later took on one of his most recognizable television roles as Omar White on HBO's Oz. He appeared in 22 episodes between 2001 and 2003. The role offered a very different kind of challenge from Eddie King Jr. Rather than playing a troubled singer struggling with fame, Wright entered the brutal prison world of Oz, where power, survival, and psychological pressure shaped nearly every relationship. His television work continued decades later. He appeared as Lazarus Prime in Black Lightning in 2019, with 2 credited episodes, and also appeared in Rel as Mr. Donaldson. Those later appearances showed that his career had not simply disappeared after the major roles of the 1980s and 1990s. Wright continued accepting work, even when he was no longer constantly visible in mainstream entertainment coverage. Away from the screen, Wright maintained a comparatively private personal life. Public biographical records identify Mitzi Lau as his former wife. IMDb records their marriage as lasting from November 1994 until January 2000 and states that they had one child. That portion of his personal history is documented, although much of Wright's family life remained outside the entertainment press. His later family life became public only much more recently. In August 2026, his wife Susan Wright confirmed his death through a social media statement. Reports quoting the family's statement described Michael as a husband, father, grandfather, loved one and friend, emphasizing the difference between the man known publicly through his performances and the family member known privately to those closest to him. The timing of his death is particularly striking because 2026 marked approximately 35 years since the Five Heartbeats introduced Eddie King Jr. to movie audiences. Wright died on August 21, 2026, at the age of 70, according to reports published the following day. His wife confirmed the death, while the family asked for privacy. This is also where recent rumors surrounding Wright need to be separated from verified information. Following his death, public curiosity quickly turned toward the cause. As of August 22, 2026, no official cause of death had been publicly released. Reputable reports specifically noted that his wife confirmed the death without disclosing a cause and indicated that additional information might come later. Therefore, claims circulating about a particular illness, accident, or other explanation should not be treated as fact unless the family or an authoritative source confirms them. That distinction matters because Wright's death is so recent that speculation can easily become mixed with reporting. His family's request for privacy makes restraint even more important. The verified story is already significant. A respected actor with a career spanning more than 4 decades had died. His family had confirmed the loss, and no cause had yet been announced. There is also an interesting contrast between the public image of Michael Wright and the amount actually known about his private world. On screen, he frequently played men carrying tremendous emotional weight. His characters could be intimidating, conflicted, violent, ambitious, or deeply wounded. IMDb even lists frequently played bad guys among his trademarks. Yet those roles should not be mistaken for evidence of his real personality. They were performances, and his comparatively quiet private life gives little basis for the sensational stories that sometimes emerge around actors who played intense characters. Perhaps the most revealing way to understand Wright's legacy is to look at the range of people he became on screen. Carlyle and Streamers placed him inside a serious ensemble drama that received major festival recognition. Elias Taylor made him part of a landmark science fiction television franchise. Eddie King Jr. connected him permanently to a beloved black musical drama. Omar White demonstrated his ability to inhabit the darker world of prestige television. Lazarus Prime showed that even late in his career, he remained part of contemporary genre storytelling. Michael Wright's career, therefore, cannot be reduced to one movie, even though The Five Heartbeats remains the role most closely associated with his name. Before Eddie King Jr., there was the young actor from New York appearing in The Wanderers. Before his cult status, there was the performer standing alongside an extraordinary ensemble in Streamers. Before his later television appearances, there were years spent moving between film and television and proving that his intensity could work in dramatically different settings. His final chapter arrived quietly compared with the force of many characters he portrayed. On August 21, 2026, Michael Wright died at 70. The confirmation came from his wife, Susan, while the family asked for privacy and additional details remained limited. What remains is a body of work that rewards a closer look. Wright was an award-winning performer long before many viewers connected his name with Eddie King Jr. He was part of an internationally honored Streamers ensemble, a recurring presence in significant television productions, a memorable figure in black cinema, and an actor whose most powerful performances often came from characters struggling beneath the surface. For audiences discovering his work after his passing, the journey begins naturally with The Five Heartbeats, but it should not end there. Streamers v. The Principal, Sugar Hill, Oz, The Interpreter and his later television appearances reveal a performer whose career was considerably broader than the role that made him famous to millions. Michael Wright leaves behind something more durable than celebrity headlines. Performances that continue to give audiences reasons to stop, watch and wonder what was happening beneath the character's surface.